I'm seeing a real opportunity for buyers to get really low interest rates that haven't been seen since COVID times. How? Assumable loans. Basically, an assumable loan is where the current seller decides to sell their home and allows you to take over the payments. Now, this would be a legal transfer into your name, but the same terms of the loan, including the interest rate, would apply to you. Now, there are definitely some caveats here that we need to discuss. For example, the lender has to be okay with this whole thing going on. Many lenders definitely will not be. 2, the seller has to be okay with this happening, because a lot of buyers won't qualify for the loan assumption, which limits the amount of buyers that they can work with, might just end up wasting their time. 3, if you're in a hot seller's market, Raleigh's a pretty hot market right now, not as many sellers are going to be okay with this, because why go through the effort of a loan assumption when you could still sell for top dollar to any buyer with multiple offers? They just won't. Now, there are going to be some sellers, and I've seen this in our market here in Raleigh, who are going to put that incentive out there to reach the most amount of buyers, or maybe they have a very specific situation, the house isn't selling, whatever the case may be. They're going to get permission from the lender and write assumable loan in the description of the property or put it in the agent remarks. Now, I know it sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Here's what you must know. 1, if you want an assumable loan, you have to be okay with being patient, and you have to be maybe a little bit aggressive and proactive. So a lot of sellers aren't going to put that in the description. They're not going to think about that. So you got to reach out to them, or have your agent reach out to the listing agent, see if you can work something out. Again, most sellers might not be open to it, but if you can just find the one that is, then you might have yourself a deal. Number 2, you're gonna find that a lot of these assumable loans, again, I've said this before, charge premium prices. Sometimes I run the numbers and I realize that they've charged so high for the purchase price that the assumable loan just brings the payment back up to what it was, and you're putting more down payment towards the property, and that just doesn't make any sense at all. Number 3, and this is the tricky one that no one seems to realize. If you're assuming a loan, you have to pay the difference between what you're buying it for and what they owe on the property. So to give you a quick example, let's say they bought the home 2 years ago. They've paid off about $10,000 worth of equity, and they're asking for $10,000 more than they originally bought the house for. So you'd have to cover that $20,000 difference in order to assume the loan. You also have a 0.5% as a fee that you have to pay for the loan assumption. And then of course on top of that, you have due diligence and earnest money that you would put towards the sale and any down payment that might apply. Pretty much all of these assumable loans are going to be FHA or primarily VA. And while there are some workarounds, typically you have to be VA to assume that VA loan. So if you are a retiree or you were in the service, or you have access to somebody who can co-sign VA, then that might be a very, very big advantage for you. Now, there are some FHA assumable loans, but they're just more rare. While this strategy definitely will not work for most people, I wanted to put this out there because I know there's going to be somebody watching this who is VA or is looking for an assumable loan, and they're willing to try to find a home that has a 3% interest rate, a 2.5% interest rate. These are actual homes I see pop up on the market in my area. If you want help with that, if you think that might be a strategy for you, make sure you call the number below or you click the link in the description, and we can go over any questions that you may have and get started today. I hope that you gained value from this video. To learn more about living in Raleigh, make sure you click one of these videos next.